Hi, I'm Mirriam, and this is Trials and Errors, a show where we demystify the justice system so that you can defeat those Twitter trolls and those Facebook fanatics. Today, since it's snowy outside, we're going to be making one of my favorites, Afghan noodle soup called ash, and I want to talk to you about impeachment. I did a video before about impeachment, but we're going to dive in even deeper today. Let's go. Oh, that's hot because it's hot soup. Keep it on the stove. Kids, whoever will come downstairs and take it as they will. So I want to talk about impeachment again. And if you look at our videos, you'll see that I have a video on impeachment. It was one of the first videos that I did a whole month ago. I remember when. Because the impeachment trial is coming up fairly soon. And there has been some activity going on around it. The first thing I wanted to talk about was this argument that why are they even bothering to impeach someone who is no longer in office? Why would you do that? Now, if you had watched the first video, you would know that impeachment is much like an indictment in criminal court. And what's an indictment? It's just a charge. That's it. It doesn't mean anything other than you have now been charged with either this misconduct, if it's impeachment, or this crime, if it's an indictment. So after an impeachment or a charge, there is a trial. And in this case, that's what's coming up. In 2 weeks, the Senate, and they're the ones that sit as the jury, will hear the evidence against our former president. They'll either convict him or acquit him, meaning they'll say he's not guilty. And after that happens, if he's convicted, there are two punishments that can happen. The first one that everyone thinks about, and when they ask, like, why are you even bothering doing this? It doesn't make any sense. He's not in office anymore, is removal from office. We don't care about that, right? He's already gone. Doesn't matter. He's got his nice little office of the former president with his former president letterhead and all his former president gear and paraphernalia that you can buy. But the second one is what we're most interested in. And the reason why conviction is important, because the only other punishment that a convicted president can have is being forbidden to ever hold any other public office again. That's one reason why this is important. Of course, there are other reasons, sending a message to other would-be authoritarians, making sure that we preserve our democracy, etc., etc. Now, the other thing that's happened is that Trump's lawyers have left his team. What we hear is that they left because their client wanted to argue that the election was stolen from him. He wanted them to perpetuate the big lie, and they quit. They wouldn't do it. And honestly, that's no matter what you think about people that may represent him or may have represented him in the past, that shows that these are ethical attorneys. They actually follow the guidance and the ethical rules that we lawyers are supposed to follow, as opposed to Lin Wood or Sidney Powell or Rudy Giuliani. If your client wants you to advance a position that you know is false, you can't do it. You can't put forth a false position no matter how much your client believes it. You just can't put it in front of a court. And so because they wanted to argue that it was unconstitutional to continue with this trial, and he of course wanted to say, I won by a lot, they were at odds. So they quit. The final thing I wanted to talk about in this video is this idea that it's not constitutional, or that you're simply not allowed to continue an impeachment trial once the president has left office. All crimes have statutes of limitations, right? So in Maryland, felonies have no statute of limitations. So you can be charged with a felony at any point in time in your life. there are statute of limitations that are 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. As long as you are charged, as long as you are indicted within that statute of limitations, the time stops. You are good to go. That's the key. And remember, Trump was indicted / impeached while he was still president of the United States. And if you take the statute of limitations being the 4 years that he's president of the United States, they got him in time. The trial can happen anytime after that. There is no issue as long as you have notice that these are the charges against you within that time frame. That's the only argument you should make with respect to constitutionality. There's nothing about a trial that can't happen as long as the indictment takes place in the appropriate statutory time frame. I think it was my erstwhile producer / editor / law partner who made this great argument about what's Trump gonna do now that he doesn't have any lawyers. And he said maybe Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz can resign their positions to become Trump's lawyers. And I think that's a win-win. We talk about impeachment and what's Trump gonna do? Is he gonna have a lawyer? Is he gonna defend himself? Is impeachment trials, if they're run the way criminal trials are run, he doesn't have to do anything. The people that brought the articles of impeachment have to prove that he is guilty. So while we can't imagine him not wanting to present a defense, we know that the Senate is probably not going to convict him. So if he does nothing at all, he's probably still going to be acquitted. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe because you know that's how we get in the algorithm. Hit the bell notification because we will be coming out with a bunch of videos this week that are going to be super cool. You're not going to want to miss it. Friday's video is going to have Ben Cohen from Ben & Jerry's to talk about qualified immunity because you know that's my jazz hands thing.